Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I make this very sumptuous Ofe Akwu that you are seeing. Ofe Akwu is an Igbo dish that is widely cherished by them. They eat it with rice, and some people eat it with fufu or gari. But in today's recipe, I mean this particular Ofe Akwu, I am going to be pairing it up with rice because that is what just makes it perfect. So I'm going to be cooking it with my firewood, and I have my assistant here who is Amarachi, as you can see her. So the first thing we are doing is just trying to clear up our spots where we are going to be making our fire. So it is just us trying to sweep the area and make it clean. You know, you don't want to cook in a dirty environment. So the next thing is me washing my fresh palm fruits, which the Igbos call akpu or umpu. It's kind of funny, but it is fine. So I'm just trying to wash it off. As you can see, I'm washing it because just see the water, it is dirty. You don't want to just start cooking it like this. You have to wash it. The external part is not clean, so I'm transferring it into that bowl. I'm washing it, transferring it into that bowl. At this stage, you don't need to wash it with any kind of warm or hot water. You just have to use your normal tap water, like the normal room temperature water, to just wash this bath. And that is what I kept on doing, and this was not really expensive. It depends on where you are buying it from. In my area, like my local market where I got this one, I got half paints for 700 naira, and then one paint is 1000 naira. I don't know if you know what one paint or half paint is, but you just have to know the quantity you want to use, and it also depends on how thick you want it to be. If you want it to be very thick, then you must want to have a lot of this palm fruit. But if you want it very maybe light or watery, I don't know, it just depends. And it also depends on the quantity. If you want it to be very plenty, like you are preparing it for a very large amount of people, you can choose to, you know, buy as much palm fruit as you want. If you know you want it for just maybe yourself and maybe two other persons, then you just have to purchase the one you want. But for this particular meal, I made this food for let's say 12 people. So that is just it. And while I was washing this, I was also setting up my fire. As you can see, my fire is already waiting for me to just start the whole preparation. So once I was done, I kept my pot on the fire, and then I'm just making sure that my pot is stable enough, just so I don't spill my akwu when it is boiling on the fire. So after that, I put the akwu inside the pot, just as you can see. After that, also I had my water, and the water, you don't want to make it too much. I just made sure that it is a little over the palm fruit, so that you know, now it's just going to give it room to boil. So basically that's all I did for this stage, and then I covered it and allow it to boil for some time. It's not for some time, or for plenty time, because this thing has to be very soft. It is, if it is not very soft, you will not be able to get the oil as much as you want to get it. So while that was on the fire, I was also pounding my pepper, my fresh pepper. I choose to use fresh pepper for this recipe because, as you know, fresh pepper has this kind of nice flavor it gives your food. If your food was on a 5, it is going to take your food, I mean the taste of your food, to a to a 92. So that is why I'm choosing to use fresh pepper. But if you're not a fresh pepper type, you can just use whatever pepper you want. If you like dry pepper, if you like Ghana pepper, any kind of pepper you want is very nice. Just use what works for you. So I'm going back to my fire to check for my palm fruit to make sure it is well. And as you can see, it is beginning to boil very well, but it is not yet okay, because when I touched it, the back was not peeling. So when the back start peeling, that should be your sign that it is now okay. So after I did that, I am now trying to pound my onion. Most people do not put onion in their recipe, But I'm pounding it because I want the onion to kind of act like a thickener, although it is not 100% valid, like it is not 100% logical, but I'm just doing it because I mean somebody did it and it worked. So after that, I'm trying to dress my crayfish. Crayfish is another thing that takes your food to a whole new level. So I'm adding up this crayfish to my already pounded onion, and I'm pounding it together. I'm pounding it, I'm pounding it, I'm pounding it, I'm pounding it, I'm pounding it. I'm making sure that everything blends properly because this food has to be a go. So these are the ingredients I'm using. I'm using this oporoko and I'm using dry fish. This fish is also known as clanla fish. If you have catfish that is dry, any kind of thing you want to use is what you should use. I have my crayfish and my pepper, and I'm using goat meat for this recipe, and I'm using cow skin also. So these are the proteins I'm using. If you have snail, you feel like you want to add snail, or you want to add shrimps, or you want to add periwinkles, anything you want to add, it is up to you. So anyhow you feel, even if you want to use fresh fish, you can also use it, or catfish, you can also use it, but this is what I'm going to be using. And also, this is me testing this banga to know if it is all right, if it is soft, and as you can see, it is soft. So all I did was open my pot and check it again, and when I was satisfied that this is how I want it to be, I kept it down, and we are going to be moving over to the phase of pounding it. For pounding this palm fruit, you would want to make sure that you have a big mortar that is as big as this. If you don't have a big mortar, you can actually use your small mortar, but this one is just the best because it gives you space to be able to pound it, and just get the juice out of it properly. So I put it in this mortar, and Amarachi is pounding it. So we are just doing it gently, pounding it bit by bit, just so that it doesn't, fall off the mortar or something. So that is just what we did for the whole palm fruit. Once that was done, I returned my pot back to my fire, and I'm now going to be I'm going to be steaming my meat now. Firstly, I added my goat's meat. This is plainly and strictly goat's meat. And then I added my cow skin, which we also call pomo. And after that, I am adding, what else am I adding? Let me just wait till I get my other ingredients. Okay, I'm adding my stockfish. The stockfish is the only thing I'm adding for this particular point. I'm not adding the other dry fish because that one is already soft. It doesn't need too much boiling. So I'm just adding a little bit of my pepper for now. I'm not adding my crayfish because I just want to cook the meat. The cow meat I got was a female, sorry, the goat meat I got was a female goat. I did not know. So it took extra time to boil. So I just allowed it stay, and then I am adding my goat's meat spice now. That is what I should be adding. Bring it now. Why are you delaying us? So this is my goat meat spice. So this goat meat spice just help enhance the taste. It just makes the goat meat just feels good. So I added that, and you can also add whatever spice you want to add. It depends too. If you're not using a goat meat, if you're not using a goat meat, you can just use another kind of spice, but since I'm using a goat meat, that is why I'm using that spice. I'm going to be adding my maggi, and then I'm adding this quantity of salt, and then I'm just stirring it up like so. I didn't add any water at this point. I just wanted it to steam first, and then I'm going to add water. So after that was done, I was just trying to just make sure that the fire is well lit so that I can leave this place on time because the smoke is not funny at all. but I love cooking with firewood because it just makes the food faster and sweeter. On the other hand, this is where we are at our palm fruit. It is already well pounded, and at this point I just had to tell Lamarachi to stop pounding because it was already good to go. So we just had to go back to our pot. I opened it and it was already well simmered, so I just added a little more quantity of water because this meat was just too strong. I tasted it and it was not even anything close to getting done. So I added lots of water. I even added 2 fork inside because somebody told me that when I add a fork or two inside the meat, it's going to soften it in no time. So that was what I did. I added 2 forks inside the meat, and in less than 30 minutes the meat was actually done. So once I was done, I am now putting warm water inside the palm fruit, and the warm water will help you extract more juice from the palm fruit. So I am just putting the warm water. Just make sure it is not too hot. Make sure it is warm to the extent that you can actually put your hand, just as I'm doing. So I'm just trying to like squeeze the palm fruit so that the juices will come out. And after I was done with that, I just shifted I shifted the water into this other pot that you're seeing. That was just the process I did, and that is it. So after that was done, I went back to my pot. This is my pot of meat on the fire, still boiling, and this is the palm fruits. After I extracted the juice, this is what I got. So what you got should be close to what I just got. And then I added to the garden. This is our small little garden. I was actually looking for scent leaf, some very fresh scent leaf. I didn't get any at the markets because I knew that we had some here. So I just came here and I plucked some. No, this what you're seeing right now is ugu or pumpkin leaf. But I just came here, plucked some fresh scent leaf, and went back to my kitchen to continue my cooking. So back to my kitchen, I opened my pot and I tasted the meat. I saw that it was soft enough. So the next thing for me to do now is to add my palm fruits into my pot of meat. I opened the pot, carried the palm fruits and poured inside the tin. You can see the consistency of the palm fruit. It is not too watery. At this stage, it is already giving thick vibes. So it just shows that when it has heat up to some extent, it's going to be very thick without even adding any form of whatever. So I added my crayfish and my pepper that I already pounded, and I just stirred it up. You can see that at this point I still did not put my pala fish, because if I had put it, I didn't just want anything that is going to disrupt that fish. I wanted them to still be long and still be big. So that is just what I did. And then I added my banga spice. If you are a fan of banga spice, you can buy. If you are not, you can just leave it. And then also I'm adding this thing. So this is okpei, but it is not that one that used to smell, and it is a local spice, like a local maggi. The Igbos do not do without this. In fact, they worship it as their god. So I'm just going to add it because I want this to have a natural and this kind of sweet taste. I still added my normal maggi. Oh, that does not mean that I did not add my maggi. I really don't know how to cook with this thing, but I just wanted to add it so that the food is just going to have a little kind of local taste. So I did it like this, just as you saw. I dissolved it. I opened my pot and voila, it was boiling graciously. I added the quantity I wanted. I did not add the down because that thing has sand in it, so I just added the quantity I wanted, and then I was already enjoying the smell, I mean the aroma. I added my panla fish, and then I just stirred it up, and you needed to see the wonders that was going on. I turned my pot. As you can see, at this point, this thing is still giving watery vibes, but don't worry, it's going to come together. I went on to start plucking my scent leaf that I got from my farm. I didn't want too much, so this is just what I needed. So this is when you use scent leaf, it adds flavor to your food. But if you want to use another leaf, I don't know if they can use another leaf, but it's not going to be the same as the normal Ofe Akwu. Everybody knows that Ofe Akwu is supposed to be with scent leaf, so that is why I am using this scent leaf, and that is what I think you should do. Just follow the mass, because it's going to make the food delicious, and it's going to be giving you the Ofe Akwu vibes that everybody knows. So this is what my vegetable looks like, and I'm just going to be introducing it to the rest of the pots. I opened my pot of banga soup, and you can see it has started coming together. So I gave it a good stir just to be sure that the bottom of the pot is not burning. And after that, I gently and carefully introduced the almond scent leaf into the banga soup. And after that process, I just gave it another gentle stir, and I allowed it stay for 3 minutes, just so that it can just mix up with the whole thing and give it its flavor. If you want, immediately you put your banga, you can just keep it down, because as you can see already, this food is ready. This our stew is already ready. So I just allowed it stay for some time, and that was basically it. So that is it. You can eat it with rice, with fufu, eba, semo, amala, anything of your choice can actually go. So this is what I paired my own with: rice and banga. Can you see what I am saying? Can you feel what I am feeling? So you can see how the texture of this banga stew is. It came out very nice. It came out very delicious. It came out thicker than I was thinking it was going to be. So that is basically it. If you enjoyed watching, please thumbs up this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this video, and make sure you try out this recipe. If you also know another method of making banga soup, please be charitable enough to just write it down on the comment section, so that we get to learn it together. And that is going to be the end of this video. See you in my next video. Bye.